The story of Hamlet has been riveting audiences since the late 17th century, a tragic tale depicting a vengeful prince and the audacious attempt to usurp the throne of Denmark. But Pure Theater has reimagined William Shakespeare's classic into a modern-day comedy. Let's welcome Nikisha Daniel, director of Fat Ham, and Alexander Leary, who plays the role of Juicy. Great name, love it. Welcome to you both. Love the work that Pure Theater does. They put on some wonderful productions. Fat Ham, how do you turn a tragedy into a comedy?
Very carefully. The playwright James Imes, who won a Pulitzer for this play, did a brilliant job of adapting this for a contemporary modern audience. It's funny, it's thoughtful, and it gets you right at the heart when you least expect it, and you will laugh your way through the entire show.
So how do you get from Hamlet to Fat Ham?
Very, very strategically.
Yeah.
He placed it at a backyard barbecue.
Okay.
So it's something that all of us can relate to.
Sure.
We've all been to family gatherings, and we follow Juicy at his family gathering as he tries to liberate himself from the shackles of who his family wants him to be.
Right.
And the interesting thing is he's not the only character going through this emergence, if you will. Every character is having their own journey.
Self-discoveries.
Yeah.
So tell me about the character of Juicy. Now, is Juicy supposed to be the Hamlet of Fat Ham?
He is the Hamlet of Fat Ham. He's a very, he's always described as soft. You know, that's always kind of a thing with him where he's like, he's not really soft for himself, but he's a pensive thinker. He's always thinking, his mind is always rolling, observing, looking at all his surroundings and environments, taking everything in all at once, just trying to really process how he's going to interact with people, interact with his family as he's dealing with topics like revenge.
Okay, yes, and that's what the story of Hamlet is about. So it's a revenge upon the uncle that kills the king and tries to usurp the throne. So how is that similar in Fat Ham or dissimilar?
Well, it still exists.
Okay.
Juicy is tasked with avenging his father's death at the hands of his brother, and his uncle has married his mother. So the core structure of Hamlet still exists, but the big question becomes, does everyone survive? Does everyone die at the end? Every character in Fat Ham actually is all about self-preservation. None of them want to die. Yeah. And no one wants to kill anyone. So it's an interesting journey on how they avoid death. In this version.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are some of the ways that you avoid death?
Well, some of the ways we avoid death in the show is more so just asking advice from, Juicy, he has confidants in the show. He goes to each of them really just asking what would you do in this situation? How would you approach it? And just asking have you had a moment of where you had to take someone's life in revenge?
Or even something a little less mortal, I guess.
Yes.
Just in our everyday lives, how you maintain power over someone or something, and others who are wanting to unseat you in one way or the other. I mean, politics for one thing, that could certainly apply, right?
Politics, but also family. Family expectations and control. It's a story about family dynamics.
Yeah.
Once Juicy's father, Pap, dies, Rev, Pap's brother, takes control of the family as the patriarch, and it's how everyone deals with this new dynamic that's come in.
Yes.
So it's really interesting to watch the characters kind of orbit around each other and figure out how to survive this new normal.
I love
that is this family.
It sounds like a great show. And I imagine we're not wearing 16th, 17th century garb.
No, it's
not at
all completely modern. So you're going to walk in and think, oh, I've met these people. I've seen these people walking down the street in Charleston next to me.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been to a barbecue. Who doesn't like barbecue?
Sure.
There's some great food in
And
Charleston.
how big is the cast? And are there elaborate sets, or is it very pared down?
It's a cast of 7. Okay. It takes place in a backyard. It's a smaller set, so everything takes place on one setting. There's no huge changes. It's all happening at once. There's no intermission.
That's why David Mamet was so successful.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all about the acting and the lines.
It's about the nuance and the relationships.
Indeed.
And so you just get to watch these characters live through every moment. It is fast-paced and action-packed. no intermission. So once the show gets started, you're
It's
just along for
rolling.
the ride.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, as an actor, you should know about Shakespeare and how things just keep going and going,
Yes,
right?
it just keeps going and going and just keeping up with the language. But with this show, the language is it's more modern, more contemporary, so it's easy for you to understand. But there are moments where Shakespeare is slipped into it because Juicy himself, he loves Shakespeare. He's all about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare, it can be really tough for some people, and everyone's like, stop talking about Shakespeare. Why are we talking about him? But, you know, he uses Shakespeare as a way to really break things down and process everything and keep him grounded.
Love that. Well, I want to thank you for thine time today. Appreciate you coming on with us. That Ham is going to be at the Cannon Street Arts Center Pure Theater. You got to go see them September 5th through the 21st. Don't miss it. Thank you again.
Thank
Thank you so much.
We're back after this.